The other guy, but you're all right.
The old
No, the old guy, you're the young guy. Okay, now.
Sorry. I'm shy too.
Is there anybody else in here that's sharp?
Wait, I have my Gerber on now. Go ahead.
Okay, do the same thing. No, I want you to grab my fingers.
Grab your fingers?
Go ahead and grab them. Go ahead and grab them.
Should I squeeze
Okay,
really hard?
no, thank you very much. I appreciate you doing that.
You.
You know, let me ask you something. What did I just do different than what we did before?
You volunteered.
I volunteered, but then what did I get him to do?
Grab your fingers.
But then I did what?
You said thank you.
I asked him to release. Do you know that if you had asked me to release your fingers, or Lisa, you would have done that, I would have let you go? How many of you are afraid to ask? When you get in a predicament, are you afraid to ask? How many of you are afraid to ask? It happens a lot. How many of you guys have employees working for you? How many of you love having employees working for you? Okay. Now, how many of you are an employee? Okay. Okay, Michelle, I'm going to ask you a quick question. Who do you work for? No, come on, now. Think about this for a minute. Who do you work for? Who do you work for? Think about it. Who do you work? Look, let's help her out now. Who do you think she works for?
Jim Sue.
Okay, keep going, keep going. I'm going a direction with this.
She works for the people who go into that hospital for services.
Okay, very good. We're getting in the right direction. Let me ask you something, Michelle. When you go home at the end of the day and you take that paycheck home from Ridgecrest Community Hospital, do you spend the money on the hospital or do you spend it on? Who do you spend it on?
My family.
You spend it on your family and therefore you. Now let me ask that question again. Michelle, who do you work for? You work for you. Now, those of you who are employers, I want you to take this to heart, because there is not an employee partner that you have that works for you. I want you to get that through your head today. Nobody works for you, but they are employed by you. What is the difference? How many, what was that?
I said their allegiance is to themselves first.
Okay, and is that a safe assumption that we do the same thing?
Yeah.
So why is it that we're afraid to say that I don't work for you, sucker? I work for me.
Well, you might get fired if you work for the Ridgecrest Hospital.
So what you're telling me is you have to be careful what you say, but you can say, I'm employed by Ridgecrest Community Hospital and I love it. I love being employed there. And this is what they do for me and this is what I do in return. You might not want to say, well, I go to work for Ridgecrest Community Hospital for me, but you do. Now, Sharon, you've got some employees working for you. Have you ever thought about that? Do your employees work for you or do they really work for themselves?
I'm not sure this is a good day to ask that question.
You work for them, don't you? You work for them. You work for them. Now, this is the challenge. If you go to your employees and you ask them who they work for, I promise you, if you allow them to work for themselves, two things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to get more production out of them, because when they come to work and they're having a bad day, they're not doing it to make you successful, because to be quite frank with you, any of you guys that are owners or run a big company, employees don't care if you drive a new Mercedes-Benz. They don't care if you make that. In fact, they may even get mad if they know you went to Italy on vacation, because they feel like they're being cheated and they should get part of that. Is that a fair thing for an employee to feel? No. Why? When you have people that work for you, who is the one that takes the risk to provide the job for them in the first place? The bank. Are you okay?
My blood sugar's high right now.
I see that. And she's hugging you though, so if you pass out, we'll just pick you up off the floor. No, I just lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, it's really an interesting dynamic. If you can come to grips with the fact that your employees really don't work for you, but they're working for themselves, trying to obtain a certain objective on their own, for themselves, you know, it's a relief to you to know that you're helping them obtain their own objectives. Now, I only have a few minutes, so I'm going to finish with one little small topic, and I think this is important. How many of you have mission statements? Okay. When was the last time you guys read your mission statement?
Start of the year.
Okay. Do you know what your mission statement is? Anybody? Do you know what yours is off the top of your head? Can you tell us what it is real quick, real loud so we can hear you?
Our goal is to make our customers look good.
And that's it?
That's it.
Okay. Her goal is to make her customers look good. Now, let me ask you something. That mission statement is written by who, for who?
It was written by me for my company.
Okay. But was it written for your employees?
Yes, I think they buy into that.
Do they?
Yep.
Okay. And so how do you facilitate that?
I talked to them about the reason why we do what we do. We do what we do so we make our customers look good through their printed materials.
Okay. Go ahead.
She also mentors her employees so that they get better at it. I've
I
seen
do that.
You know, I like that. And if we get into one of our full-blown seminars, one of the things we talk about is mentoring. And I like the word coaching as well. Somebody that's a good coach and a mentor will have greater success because they know that you care. And it sounds to me, is it fair that she cares about the people that work for her?
Yes, she does.
And so you get great results out of your employees, don't you?
Yes, I do.
How many of you guys have ever been caught stating this to an employee or a business associate? I said you'll do it because I want you to. I said so. Have you ever heard that? Oh, I'll bet you have.
She told me that just yesterday.
I know. When you go into business, this is a challenge that I have for you. Take your mission statement. Yours is simple and it's right to the point. Now, if you really want to be successful with your employees, not only have a mission statement, but I challenge you to create mission objectives for each individual department, like in the hospital, each individual division if you've got places all over the place, but more importantly for each individual in the company or in the organization. Now, what's really critical about having these mission objectives is that the mission objectives need to support the overall mission, number one. And number two, when you're talking to the individual, their mission objectives should also support them. I'm going to say that again. It should support them because their objectives are different. I'm a big Denver Broncos nut. And when I have free time, I like to spend my money at a Denver Broncos football game. The Chargers and the Broncos are playing here in a few weeks, and I'm going to be there, dang it, with an avid Chargers fan, and I cannot wait. That's what I work for, so that I can go have those enjoyable moments. That's what I work for. Whether it's having grandkids, I think, Patty, you said you've got how many grandkids? 8. You have 8. I've got you beat. I have 10. I have 10. I know. How many do you have?
13.
13. Do you live for those grandkids? They're fun, aren't they? So the money, are you on retirement right now?
Yep.
Isn't it exciting that you have the funds now that allows you to enjoy that? So you've met your objective, haven't you? And you continue on with that. And you continue on with that. Any questions at all about how we look at mission objectives and mission statements and who you work for? Anybody question that concept at all? Oh, this thing changed on us. Oh, I did. It's interesting to me when you begin to talk to your employees, you're going to find something that is really, really interesting. And let me bring this up real quick. It'll only take me a second. I'm going to skip right to this screen right here. Now, what is this? It's a compass. Now, how many of you guys have ever heard it stated, find your true north? You need to know your true north. You need to know your direction and where you're going in life. Now, I threw this question at somebody, a friend of mine yesterday, and I said, if you want to go to Cancun and you're here today, are you going to go north? No, so is that really your objective then? If you want to go south, why would you want to find your true north? So everyone in this room has a different direction. You might be going northeast, you may be going back east. How many of you have relatives on the East Coast or kids on the East Coast? So are you going to go north if you want to go back to go to Florida? Maybe as a waypoint, depending upon where your flight goes, but ultimately you're going east, right? If you go to Europe, if you fly to Germany, you fly over Greenland. How many of you guys have ever been in a plane and flown over Greenland? Is that cool or what? Now to get to England, you go what direction? You go north, don't you? So there's a waypoint, and because of the way the Earth curves, it's shorter to do that. I still haven't figured that out. You guys are engineers. You should know it better than I do. But the reality of it is you set a course based upon the direction that you need to go. And that as employees, as parents, as friends, you want to determine what that direction is. And then you plot out a map. And you have a series of waypoints to get there. How many of you guys went from business owners, you went from having nothing to being filthy rich in one day? It is a joke. So what happened? How did you get there? You had your vision, didn't you? You're at the bottom in Onion Valley in Independence. Everybody know where that is? Okay. You're in Independence, and you know you want to go to Mount Whitney. If you're at Independence, could you see Mount Whitney? Not from Independence, you can't. But you have a vision.
You can see it from Death Valley.
But we're not in Death Valley. We're in Independence. See, it's all a matter of perspective. You're way south, dude.